Hello guys, this is What About Nintendo, and I'm joined by Andres Restart and LilWilltheDiety. If you watch the podcast that we do on Andres Restart channel, you'd know them very well. Today we're going to be talking about our predictions for the Nintendo Direct that was just announced for tomorrow, March 8th. But I guess we'll start off. How are you guys doing today, guys? And how was your initial reactions to getting this Direct announcement? Were you expecting it? Did it come as a surprise? How are you feeling about it?
Um, so I honestly kind of just gave up on the idea of getting a major direct anytime soon, right? So I was just like, all right, whatever. But then I saw that and I was like, oh, okay. Oh, I have to work tomorrow. Oh, I have to work today. Oh, a blizzard just started. So if I
A
drive,
blizzard.
I'll probably die. So I can't leave the house. There's a blizzard going on right now. My cousin's coming over tomorrow. I still have to work. And I just started playing Bloodborne, and apparently I'm stuck at a church and every door is closed. And I have no idea what to do. So it's this, the PlayStation Plus is allowing us to play this game for free. It's really cool. So if you have PlayStation Plus, you should probably try it. But I don't know. There's so much going on. I mean, obviously we'll probably get into all of the details surrounding this direct, but I wasn't expecting it. But it might be a big deal. So I'm excited.
Okay. How about you, Will? How are you feeling about it?
I think it's first of all, I'm doing great. Hope you guys are doing good, and
Yeah.
I think
Cool.
Nintendo is. I think this is just one of their superpowers. They're really good at squeezing every last bit of hope out of you, and then they're like,
Right.
direct tomorrow. So I do think I was thoroughly surprised. Like, wow, okay. And I was just chilling on my phone, and then I see it, and I'm like, this has got to be some loser trying to
Mm-hmm.
prank everyone. But I'm like, holy crap! And I'm looking at the comments, and I click on the actual profile. I'm like, holy crap, this is happening. And then I read the description. It's like 30 minutes. I'm like, this is on average one of the longer ones. I think we're gonna get. It's longer than E3 2017, and it's focused on 3DS and Mario Tennis Aces, which was sort of but I think we're gonna get some good stuff out of this.
Yeah, for sure. For me, I don't know, I was kind of in between. I kind of thought we might get one, but I wasn't really thinking, like, imminently. Like, I wasn't thinking, oh, any moment we could be getting a direct. I was just kind of like, I feel like, a direct could come this month. And I think I said it during one of our podcasts when we were wondering when a direct would come. I'd said, probably, like, a week or two before Kirby Star Allies. That seems right. And, well, sure enough, it's about a week or two before
You
Kirby
are a
Star
great
Allies.
prognosticator, Brandon. As I
Uh-huh.
said in the chat, you
Yep.
you
The
said
great Brandini.
it. Yeah.
I saw the future. But yeah, so I was not too surprised, but I was a little bit surprised. So yeah, I guess we can just launch right into our predictions, though. Any of you guys
Right.
have any specific predictions you think that we'll see in this direct?
So, my perspective on what we should expect is maybe a little bit more than the Direct Mini. And I really say that just because one is a Direct Mini while the other is a full-on Direct. So, in terms of branding there should be more hype going into a Direct. However, E3 is coming in June, right? We're already in March. Like, it's only 3 months and a week away. Like, how much do they really need to show off now? And can they just wait until E3? So that's kind of tempering my expectations a bit, because I feel like at this point, a lot of what they could have shown in like that early January direct that we were all hoping that we would see, it's probably going to be shown off at E3. So going into this, I think what we may instead of like the really fast bulleted fashion that we saw in the May direct, I think we may get some more extended looks at some things like Mario Tennis. There may be 2 to 3 minutes invested on just Mario Tennis, them sort of showcasing the game, and that could happen for a few other games, like maybe a couple third-party games. Maybe they do showcase Dark Souls Remastered if they want to focus on what's coming before E3. But I also think we'll probably finally see Fire Emblem. I think if there's one big game from Nintendo that we're definitely going to see, or the most likely at least, that would be Fire Emblem, and maybe also Yoshi. And from what we're hearing from rumors, Fire Emblem is going to be shown, and it's supposedly a summer game release. But that is a rumor. However, those other rumors also predicted like a day or two ago that there would be a direct tomorrow. So it holds a little bit of weight, but still, you should take it with a grain of salt. So those are just kind of my surface expectations. There's a whole bunch of it, but we have a whole discussion to get into it. But that's just surface level.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. I actually had the same thoughts. Like, I don't think they're going to be going through, like, maybe some of it will be the bullet points and just rapid fire. But I think a lot of it, there might be big chunks where they stop for a bit, talk about a game for 2, 3, maybe even up to 5 minutes for maybe a bigger game, and just slow down for a bit and just get into the nitty gritty, especially for Mario Tennis Aces. Obviously, they've already shown that game off once. We just need to know more about it in depth, so I think they'll go, and they specifically said on their Twitter that was one of the games they were going to go into. So I expect to see that for like 2, 3 minutes at least. So I definitely agree with you there, and yeah, I was thinking Fire Emblem as well. We might see that, because I do not see that as a big E3 game. I don't see that as their big holiday game or anything like that. I think it's going to be like late summer, in my opinion. That just seems right about
I think
where that series should be.
Splatoon slot.
Yeah,
like Splatoon came out, I believe, last July.
Yeah, July 21st or something.
Right. So what may happen is that Fire Emblem will get its big reveal at this Direct, right? And then come E3 time, there'll be some talk about it, not a lot, right? But it'll probably be on the show floor. There may be a trailer or, maybe some DLC conversation, minimal stuff, like just a couple minutes just dedicated to Fire Emblem at E3 after, assuming it's revealed, tomorrow, and then it's released a few weeks later.
Yeah.
Like Splatoon from last year. So.
What are you thinking, Will?
I was very, very vocal about this when I first posted it to the little chat we're in. I basically said I feel like it's definitely going to be a dump of sorts. Andres kind of opened my eyes with that. Hold on, give me a minute.
Oh, yeah, he had to mute for a second. I'm curious what.
But yeah, I feel like I'm hoping, but I'm just to live a little. I'm gonna say we're gonna see something from Project Octopath Traveler. Nintendo.
I could definitely see that.
I completely forgot about that. Yeah,
Nintendo seems to be giving that game a lot of love. Like they saved a video for it on their channel and all that. We're hearing a lot of the improvements and stuff. Nintendo seems to
that was exciting.
really care about this middleware game. Dark Souls Remastered, I don't see that coming at all. There isn't really any point in it coming.
They might show it like in a rapid fire, like just like, hey, remember this is here, but I don't see them really showcasing it either.
I mean, I did suggest it, but yeah, looking at Nintendo's history, like even when they have a big third-party game coming to them, they don't really showcase it at the Direct. It's just a quick little thing.
Yeah, I don't really see the point in them paying to have it, showcased during the Nintendo Direct. If we've already seen it is a game that already exists. It's a remaster. It'll sort of be a waste of money on Nintendo's part, in my opinion, unless, like Andres suggested, in the speculatory realm, we get some sort of Mario and Luigi costume. I do sort of kind of expect something about Fire Emblem, something about Yoshi, maybe a little more, a few more details on Kirby Star Allies, because it has been data mined and there apparently is stuff we still don't know about it in terms of gameplay. So I am very much looking forward to that. Maybe I don't have too many more expectations. I do expect some third-party ports. I've been hearing a lot of people say, hey, we're getting PS4 games. We're getting a lot of the PS4 games. Naruto Ninja Storm Trilogy, I feel like we might get a few more details on that. Maybe not.
I think if anything, just like a trailer. A trailer. That's it. Like, they may even have like a third-party montage, right? Which includes Dark Souls and Naruto Shippuden, That could happen.
Right. But other than that, I haven't really put too much stock into this. Something about it being 30 minutes has me really, really hyped, but I gotta remember, like you guys said, they felt it they needed to point out that Mario Tennis will be in it. So obviously, it's gonna take a little bit. It's gonna take a little chunk of the time. And
Yeah.
the 3DS usually when the 3DS stuff is included, it's sort of side stuff that Nintendo just wants to dump on us. So yeah.
I mean, to kind of lower our expectations a little bit, to your point, Will, like I think between the 3DS stuff and Mario Tennis, that could end up taking up like half of the Direct, those two things alone. So
right, I feel like first and foremost, I feel like we should all expect to be disappointed, just in general.
Right.
not saying that Nintendo is just failures. I'm just saying we shouldn't expect Smash.
Definitely not
out of this.
Right. I honestly, the last time they did a Direct with 3DS and Switch, the 3DS was like 2% of the Direct, and everything else was Switch. They were like, hey, we're getting 2 games for the 3DS, but hey, yeah, everything else is coming to Switch. So I don't think there's going to be too much for the 3DS. They might show a few new games off, but I really think they're just not going to all of a sudden be like, oh yeah, we're supporting the 3DS 2 to 3 times more than we were last year. Just like, nah, I don't really see that. Yeah. So it might be a couple
hopefully
of...
Hopefully the 3DS are the bullet points, and then they just go into detail about everything else.
Well, we've seen that before.
I'm also sort of excited, when they said, "Oh, we're going into detail about Mario Tennis." They did, so like we did see it, and we did hear them say, "Hey, there's going to be story elements," but I would like to know how deep the story
I'm looking forward to that as well, because I'm wondering if it will have RPG mechanics like the Game Boy one, because they did say, like they mentioned that specifically, but they didn't say it would be exactly like that.
The Game Boy one is the best Mario Tennis game.
That's what I've heard. I've actually never played it, but I've seen some of it, and I'm like, oh, that looks really cool. So I want to see that.
I mean, there are some others that I know people like, but like that one, like you didn't even necessarily play as Mario for a big part of the game, it was just interesting. It had a lot of RPG mechanics. It was really cool back in the day. If they were to revisit that, that'd be really interesting, but I don't feel like it's gonna be the same thing. But having a narrative, having RPG elements could go a long ways toward adding a lot of value to this. We'll see what happens. It definitely looks like a bigger game. It looks like there's a lot more effort and time being put into this one as opposed to the Wii U Mario Tennis.
Oh, for sure.
So, my expectations 100%. Are yeah.
I don't really. I'll go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, but it's possible that, I think he suggested it earlier, maybe not in this discussion, but in the chat, that what they're gonna show off for the 3DS, I think could be everything. Everything major we'll be getting for this entire year. So this could be the last Direct that features the 3DS, aside from maybe a 3DS game dedicated Direct, right? So like, if there's any big game coming out for 3DS this year, I think we may be seeing it at this Direct.
Probably Detective Pikachu.
Yeah, I think that would be there.
Will finally be localized, probably, right? And they may show that off. Now, I'm going to bring this up, and I'm going to put the disclaimer, right? If you're following me on Twitter or on Discord, you probably may have heard this or me suggest this already. This probably isn't real, okay? So do not, when I say this, do not,
get your salts out, guys,
or start crying or whatever. Like this probably isn't real. But there were rumors in January about a 3DS Zelda game. From what I remember, a reimagining or mastering of Link's Awakening in kind of like a 3D open worldish style for the 3DS, and that would be like the last big hurrah for the 3DS to give one more major game for the 3DS in 2018, and that's the idea. Now, do I think this is likely? I mean, come on, really? Like an open world 3D Zelda a year after Breath of the Wild, albeit it would be on the 3DS, so it would be different for sure. It's not likely, but I just feel like it's worth mentioning, and that could be at this Direct, maybe if what Nintendo's plans, if Nintendo is planning to just show off everything for the 3DS now and save E3 for just Switch stuff. So I just I have like a checklist, and it's on my checklist, but I do not expect this. This is just a like 0.01% possibility, but I'm bringing it up because it's really cool.
I speak for a lot of people, but I'm pretty sure I'm beating a dead horse too. But I'm the 3DS. It's so it's getting stupid and ugly and dumb to me because they keep eventually it's just gonna have a bunch of Nintendo's version of shovelware, like Kirby Blowout Blast, and I just because right now it has like one of my favorite libraries ever, and if Nintendo keeps, hey, we need to get those software sales, we need to milk them, we need to milk it for what it's worth. I feel like this direct should be the end of the 3DS, but I doubt it.
I felt like last year should have been the end of the 3DS.
Right.
Maybe the year before then. Gosh, the 3DS, man, stop it.
In fact, I would, if I had to guess, right, maybe there won't be any major 3DS games left. Maybe Detective Pikachu really is it. Maybe there'll be a couple RPGs, the third-party RPGs to mention in this direct along with Detective Pikachu, and then that's it. That is it, and the 3DS will quietly phase out, There'll be some third-party stuff, but that's it. And that's what we're going to see at this direct.
Right. My only fear is that they'll start focusing on the 3DS because it had one of its biggest holiday sales numbers in years last year.
I mean, it's only good business to take advantage of hardware that's still selling.
Yeah, it is, and that's what scares me because like it makes so much sense, but I don't want them to do it, but it makes logical sense. So,
I mean, if we want to talk about history here, the NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System, went on for like about 7 or so years before the Super Nintendo came around. I have to double check the actual numbers, but it was beyond the standard 5-year life cycle. And we had things like the Sega Genesis come out, which was far more powerful than the NES, but it was still selling alongside the Sega Genesis, which is basically a next generation console, for at least 2 years. And Nintendo did it. Why? Because, well, one, it costed money to do the R&D for a new system, and two, the NES was still selling. So here we have the 3DS, which is way behind tech-wise, but it's still selling. So there's
the Switch is already out, though.
Yes, the Switch is already out.
I feel like if Nintendo knew that the 3DS would continue like those systems with incredible momentum did, they wouldn't have released the Switch so soon. I feel like they would have, because the Switch could. I'm not even going to say could. It had way more room for improvement at launch.
Yeah, I don't know. I still feel like they would have released something because even though the 3DS was selling, the general press around Nintendo and just everything about them was like negative. I'm wondering if the sales numbers are better now because people now realize that Nintendo isn't a heaping pile of garbage and they're checking out other things as well. So they're like, oh, the Switch is doing really good. Nintendo's actually a good company. Hey, look, they also have this 3DS that's cheap. Let me go pick that up as well. Definitely. I think this is late. I don't think this is people who, wanted a 3DS before and just, couldn't afford it or, whatever reason. I think
Nintendo's just selling in general right now. Like Nintendo,
exactly.
The Switch is a big part of this Nintendo resurgence, and like Nintendo is a big name now, and they have just had this huge branding marketing push since the Switch, or even before the Switch. They were before the Switch that were building this up. When Amiibo came out, that was the beginning, in my opinion.
Classic was a big part of that. Like they really awakened the retro gamers that were absolutely in love with Nintendo.
They got woke.
Right, they're woke gods now, and they're like, holy crap, Nintendo was good back then. Let me look into Nintendo again. Let me mess around with Nintendo some more. I think that was a really good one. And when they realized that if they cut that off, they cut off that sort of demographic of people that they reminded that they were incredible. So, and they were like, "Oh crap, we need to remind them again."
I mean, that's one of the things. Like, if you think about it, I think in fact, I feel like it really actually started, like Nintendo, like making a resurgence in the public eye. It even started back on the Wii U, like the directs, the Amiibo, and then the NES Mini, and then the SNES Mini, obviously, and the Switch, and then Pokemon Go, and then just mobile games in general. All of that sort of combined to really bring back Nintendo to the forefront of people's minds. And that could be a big reason why the 3DS is still selling, but also because Pokemon, obviously, so there's that. And then
it's definitely really smart, especially when you consider, like you said, the mobile games. Super Mario Run's install base is 50 million, which is crazy. And Pokemon Go actually dwarfs that, which is even crazier. So yeah, it's definitely Nintendo. Tatsumi Kimishima, I want to give the credit to, is incredibly smart for how he pulled the strings for all this, and I think it's actually really impressive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And that
I
you,
mean,
Andres, speaking of the mobile titles, you remind me that I still think that Animal Crossing is going to be coming out this
I
year.
knew you were going there. Yeah.
So, do you think
Right,
that will
right.
be in this Nintendo Direct? Because
No.
that is a game
No.
that may come out in the summer, and it is a game that doesn't demo very well at E3. So, do you think that they would show it off in this
Right,
Direct?
I think it's actually a pretty good argument you just made there. I
It
still say
is,
no. But
like I said, in when did Pocket Camp release? Late last year.
Mhm.
I think that this is perfect. Late last year, early this year,
Yeah.
bam, E3 releasing later this year.
well, do we have
I
a
think
history of like when major Animal Crossing games are announced and when they're actually released? That might give us maybe an idea of when to expect this
I mean,
Animal
I could
Crossing.
look it up, but I don't have
I
the
don't-
numbers off the top of my head here.
They
don't really-
they could announce Animal Crossing.
I don't really think Nintendo, like with their history, I don't think. I don't really.
Yeah,
think that
looking
they
into their history,
look at their
actually,
history.
you make a good point here, Will. They've been doing a lot of things against their history. I mean, when did they ever announce Mario the same year, or close to the same year? Yeah, I guess they did announce it
Right.
fully that same year when they announced it. When did they ever show off a Xenoblade game and now and release in the same year, even though nobody thought that was possible? Like, when did they do any of the stuff that they did last year?
Right.
Like, it just doesn't
I
happen.
mean,
Like, when did Nintendo do paid on like in when does Animal Crossing completely skip the Wii U? So should we say, hey, Animal Crossing on Switch is
Amiibo
really
Festival is the best Animal Crossing yet.
Oh yeah, for sure. I loved that game.
Yeah.
Totally paid so
Yeah.
much money for it. No.
But yeah, I don't think we never. I think as a fan base, I don't think we've ever found anything accurate when we look at Nintendo's
Oh,
history.
gosh,
I mean,
they're all over the place.
right?
Okay, I mean the point is that it's really hard to predict Nintendo. Yeah, you can use
Yeah,
history, you can
right,
use
right. That's
numbers
that's
and
what I
all
was
these different pieces of data that would be intelligent
But,
ways to
yeah.
maybe get a decent prediction. But at the end of the day, Nintendo is
Nintendo isn't
unpredictable. Right.
thinking. Right.
So, but and Brandon, like you said, there's the whole mobile game. You have to think that Animal Crossing should be coming soon. Animal Crossing
It's a marketing
traditionally
strategy.
comes out, relatively early on most consoles from Nintendo, excluding the Wii U, which is a failure, obviously. So then, it wouldn't shock me to see Animal Crossing, but at the same time, like we said before, this Direct is going to feature the 3DS. It's going to have feature Mario Tennis. We're thinking Fire Emblem definitely has to be shown off, and with that, maybe also Yoshi. There's probably going to be some third-party stuff shown off. If Animal Crossing is somehow coming this year, I could still see it being saved for E3.
I think we're gonna see some Bayonetta 3. Like,
Really?
yeah, I think we're gonna see maybe hear a little bit about it because
don't.
I don't think so, but
well, it
go
doesn't
on.
matter. But at least hear me out. before you-
Our opinion doesn't matter.
right. It's not my opinion, but anyways, see, I'm not gonna say anything about what I don't think is coming out this year because I know that can be
Mhm.
very divisive. But
Kamiya did retweet the Direct though, so to your point.
Who did?
he retweets all of the Ricks. He's a troll. He's a
Yeah.
Mr. Kamiya. I love him.
Oh, okay.
I
Also
love him so
true.
much. I love him. But anyways, he actually showing it at the Game Awards in and of itself is a marketing strategy, and
Mhm.
releasing Bayonetta 1+2 is a marketing strategy. So I do feel like they've already employed two marketing strategies, and now releasing Bayonetta in February, then showing Bayonetta a little bit of Bayonetta 3 in March would be perfect for a release of Bayonetta, or showing Bayonetta at E3 maybe, and then releasing it later this year, or somewhat in the third quarter of this
Yeah.
year. I think that would be good.
Maybe they'll mention that it's there because Bayonetta 1 and 2 just came out and there's a bit of hype surrounding the Bayonetta series. They might mention, oh, don't forget,
Right.
Bayonetta 3 is coming out, but I don't think we'll see, like, footage or anything like that.
Nah, maybe not footage. I think we're gonna get maybe.
Well, there's no
some
footage.
story.
Is there any reason to show it now and just save it for E3 if they're going to show it off?
Nah, I don't think they showed at E3, but yeah.
I think they might mention that it exists. Maybe give a hint or tidbit about something, but I don't think we'll see like a trailer or anything.
That's why people think Travis Touchdown is going to show up, because Nintendo doesn't really show. I don't want to say indie games, but even though Travis Touchdown is an indie game, but Bayonetta is one of those smaller.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I think they'll show it at E3, but I feel like they need. I feel like Nintendo would put it in the Nintendo Direct first. That's why. Well, never mind. I was gonna say something else to that point, but I don't. I know it'll probably trigger Andres.
Nice,
say what you want. I don't care.
I'm just like.
Well, I feel like if they don't show Metroid Prime 4 tomorrow, it 100% isn't coming this year. But anyways, continue.
I think that's a bad point, and let me tell you why. Nintendo always show E3.
That's why I did it.
And they come out. You know, but you're entitled to your opinion.
This is like looking at their history doesn't really help. But.
Yeah, I think that I don't know. I don't think that they'd show off Metroid Prime 4 in this direct. I think that even though Metroid Prime doesn't typically sell well, I think there's a very big.
I think they're going to be.
There it goes. My camera was lagging for some reason. Hold on. Sorry about that. Anyways, I think that they're trying to hype it up as a much bigger game than they usually do. I think they're trying to make it a bigger seller than it usually is, and I think the Switch is the perfect platform for that. Right. So I think they'll show it off at E3, despite any history or whatever.
It could be the big game at E3, you know? It could be. But at the same token, it could be Bayonetta. Yeah. Maybe. It could be both. Maybe Smash Bros. Is showing off tomorrow. That's possible as well. Is it likely? I don't think so. I think Smash Brothers is definitely like an E3 kind of thing.
Smash is not coming tomorrow.
Yeah, everyone's like, dude, it's just, I've already seen the memes. They're already being made right now. It's just, you could show like everything, and then if you didn't show Smash, people but
here's the thing,
no Smash?
Here's the thing, though.
Smash is coming to E3, though.
To kind of bring in some of the rumors and leakers back into this conversation, like I said before, there were rumors about Link's Awakening, but there were other rumors talking about a major direct happening in January. And some of those rumors included Metroid Prime 4 being shown off. And then they said that the direct was simply delayed and they were pushing it up. If those rumors are true, that would potentially imply that this is the direct they were talking about and it was simply delayed for a number of reasons. Then Metroid Prime 4 could be shown off tomorrow, but I don't even believe the rumors. I'm simply bringing it up. I think if Metroid Prime 4 is going to be shown off, I think they're going to feature it at E3. So that's just my thoughts on the matter. You know,
right.
I'm one of the few people that defends a 2018 release. You know, and I don't think it's being shown off tomorrow. I don't think so. I think Fire Emblem is going to get the limelight. Maybe Animal Crossing as well. You know, they can't announce 4 new Nintendo main like big Nintendo games tomorrow. They save E3 for that. You know,
I don't think they're gonna be. I think they're gonna be unorthodox with this one. I'm not saying that their E3. I don't think their E3 is gonna be like flat per se, but I do think that Nintendo is gonna make some bold moves this year. I don't see them going the super predictable route. Like, okay, if we want to know what Nintendo's doing this year, let's just look at last year. I think Nintendo knows exactly how to throw that. Like I said earlier, that's like their superpower. They squeeze every last drop of hope out of you, and then they're like, "Hey, did you think it was gonna be a boring old day?" Direct.
Right. I wonder, to your point there, they could announce games and not show much of it. Maybe announce some key games and then save, like, getting into the nitty-gritty for E3. That's something they could do, because I see a lot of people who are somewhat disappointed, I guess, at what we know of Nintendo's lineup for this year. Some people are even calling it, like, a Wii U-ish year, which I don't consider it that. Even what we have now is probably more than what the Wii U would get, let's be honest. But
I think we're going to get at least one main Nintendo game announcement tomorrow.
I think
one. Like I don't know what main means, but you know,
Pokemon could. I don't think we're gonna get a full-fledged trailer, of course not, or maybe not.
There could be a teaser though.
I don't think we're getting teaser, but I think we're gonna get maybe some artwork or.
I would count that as a teaser.
Yeah.
Artwork is a teaser. Well, whatever.
Yeah, it's teasing. It's teasing you about the game. It's something referencing the game.
Said whatever, but yeah, I think we're gonna need a release window of some sort. I mean, of course, everyone expects it to be in November, but yeah, I think we're gonna get some sort of release window or
I
something.
think if we get anything for Pokemon, it would be like a very small teaser, and then maybe, hey, this is when you're gonna get more information about Pokemon, and then nothing else. It's just like, here's a picture of a new Pokemon that's gonna be in the game, hype,
Right.
and then
Right, something like that.
yeah.
Or the Pokemon Company could just have their own direct in April, completely separate. Because
Yeah.
normally Pokemon has their own
That's what
separate
I'm
direct
thinking.
anyways, right before E3.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they may
Very-
show off a teaser and then be like, hey, by the way, a couple weeks, Pokemon Direct.
And then maybe there'll be a trailer like couple weeks or a month away before E3 that actually shows off Pokemon gameplay in a quick trailer, right? And then E3 we actually see like gameplay demos.
What, you were gonna say something, Will?
We should. I mean, not we should. Nintendo should, or I think that this is a great idea. Assuming that these new battle system rumors, this Pokemon is going to be extremely unorthodox, and this is just getting to the speculatory realm. This isn't really meant to be taken seriously. But if they were to do something like that, I feel like they'd be like, "Hey, this is regular old Pokemon. You meet someone's eye, you fight them. That it is what it is." And then they're like, "Okay, and then they actually have a new battle system, but they sort of show it. They're like, hope to see you at E3 or something like that. They could do that. That would be great in April or this direct, whichever.
That could happen. Yeah.
There's no way we're gonna see everything we're talking about today.
Probably
all.
not.
Yeah.
I
think, like
maybe
I
some of
said,
it. Maybe
probably
some of it.
expect to be disappointed. That's what I'm. Maybe I'm being a little too pessimistic. But I'm thinking that the 3DS will really bring this one down.
I don't know.
That's just my opinion.
Some reason I don't think the 3DS will get that much of a focus. I really think it's mostly going to be the Switch.
I kind of agree with you, Brandon, mainly because there's not much to show for the 3DS. I think what we're going to see for the 3DS is only cover a few minutes because that's all there is to show. But like I said before, if that rumor is true, we may see a Zelda, but I'm not going to mention that again. That's probably not going to happen.
All right. Well, since we kind of are in agreement that we should keep our expectations in check. Obviously, for me, it's always a matter of keep your expectations low, and then if they show cool stuff, you get really hyped, and if not, you're fine with what you got. That's just my way of doing things.
My viewpoint's a little different, actually. Do you mind if I describe it for a moment?
No, sure. Yeah, go ahead.
So, like, I find that most people are like, oh, you got to keep your expectations in check. You know, you don't want to, if you're really excited and you have all these different ideas of what you may be seeing, and then you see whatever Nintendo shows off and it's not what you expected, you end up being disappointed. I see a lot of people like that and they get butthurt or whatever. They're always expecting Smash Brothers, always expecting them to, or Star Fox or Smash Brothers and 7, you know, but like, I personally, the way I try to look at things, like I see all this different information that's out there and I consider everything as a possibility, but I don't assume anything, you know. I'm just like, oh, this is possible, this is possible, this is possible, and it's just, for me, it's just cool to think about the possibilities, but I also understand that out of all the possibilities, only a small piece of it is going to be shown.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Like, it's not that to think of possibilities is not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, once you think of all these possibilities, don't get lost in thinking that all of these possibilities are possible.
Don't forget that they're only possibilities. Don't think that they're gonna happen. They're just.
I think to be way out there, like just to go crazy with this, I think a new IP is possible. In some form or fashion. I think it's possible.
Actually,
Mr. Koizumi has said like multiple times, "Hey, don't expect the regular. We're gonna have traditional IP and non-traditional IP." And I think it's a little unwise to start showing a new IP at E3.
Speaking of new IPs, though, you know, you reminded me of something. So you guys remember Ever Oasis last year for the 3DS?
Yeah.
So there's this rumor. Another rumor, of course, there's a lot of rumors out there, but it's coming from the guy who also predicted the date of this Direct, that Grezzo, the guys who made Majora's Mask 3D, Ocarina of Time 3D, and Ever Oasis, is actually remastering Ever Oasis with the Unreal Engine for the Switch.
That would be so awesome. Please,
right, I mean, we've all wanted Ever Oasis to come out for the Switch. It's one of the reasons why we didn't play it, because it was coming out in 3DS, and we're all just kind of, you know, looking forward to the Switch.
The game looked really good, but I wanted to play it on the Switch.
Right, it was a good game on 3DS, it just didn't get enough attention, but it is a new IP. So hopefully, I kind of like this rumor because one, I don't think it's that crazy for Grezzo to be remastering a game they made last year. Everyone is doing that. They're remastering games that came out the last couple of years to give them another run, and this game would work really well on Switch. Tons of people would give it a shot, and it might give the IP a chance to actually flourish. So, I hope that this rumor is true. I think it'd be great.
Yeah.
Grezzo. I think they should, no offense, stick to... I don't know. If anything I want from them, it's another Zelda thing, but it like Ever Oasis is a new IP, I would give that a chance.
Yeah.
I mean, the Ever Oasis that came out, Grezzo made it, and it was good.
I know.
I think it deserves another run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. But I still would prefer a Zelda remake. Go ahead, Brandon.
Yeah.
You would prefer them to make that 3D Link's Awakening I keep talking about, right?
Right. Make that on Switch.
And yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I was going to say...
I want to hear something about Virtual Console. Go ahead, Brandon.
Sorry. I was going to say, to your point, you mentioned the fact that Nintendo said that there were going to be more new IPs, more non-traditional IPs this year. And we haven't really seen any of that at all. It's mostly just been like Mario Tennis and stuff ports, and none of the things that they said that there was going to be. So maybe this is the direct when they go, oh hey, they bring back the new IPs, they bring back the old Nintendo games we forgot about, a Kid Icarus Uprising for other Nintendo games. That's the name, right?
F-Zero is possible too.
Yeah, that's the name.
I feel like we won't see Kid Icarus until next year.
No. I mean, just like how that Kid Icarus game redid Kid Icarus, that kind of thing for a different Nintendo series. Like bring back an older Nintendo series that has
like Ice Climbers.
Yeah, maybe Ice Climbers.
It's funny. I actually think Celeste is kind of like the next generation of
That's
Ice Climbers.
exactly what I was thinking. I heard some people like, oh, they should bring back Ice Climbers. I'm like, play Celeste. Sounds like pretty similar.
It's similar, but also at the same time it could be completely different.
Yeah. I mean, the two having Nana and Popo would be interesting because I think there's a lot of different gameplay elements you could make, but for now I think Celeste.
Well, they're similar in the sense that they're both icy, like they're both they're both the same.
Mountain icy.
Right, a platform of climbing a cold mountain. That's right. In that premise, they're similar, but everything else is the way they're carried out is obviously different.
Yeah,
but we haven't gotten Ice Climbers since Ice Climbers on the NES, right? So, it'd be nice to see something from that franchise, or Star Tropics, or Mother.
I'd say go for Mother or Earthbound or whatever.
You gotta have Mother 3 for that first.
Yeah, but the thing is, for me, like if they were to make Mother, are we talking about like a 2D Mother, or an actual 3D Mother, like what they try to do for the N64?
I don't care as long as it comes back in an RPG.
My point is this.
Let me finish first because I brought up Mother. But anyways, I think that we should have more Nintendo RPGs. I think I've said this before, but we should have, because I feel like Xenoblade 2, it's really good. I'm sure it's really good. I've never played Xenoblade 2. I think we need a Mother or an Earthbound. We need a hardcore Nintendo RPG, because me and Brandon always say, Paper Mario is dead, it never comes back, stuff like that.
Dang it, Nintendo killing Paper Mario, such a good series. Why'd you have to bring that up? Now I'm salty. But go on, Andres, what were you going to say?
Well, I was just going to say that, if Mother, for whatever reason, is getting not a remake, but a new entry to the series, that I would consider that like a major AAA game, and I wouldn't expect that to be coming this year.
I don't know, just because Nintendo doesn't... Yeah. I don't know how well the sales are on that. I know a lot of people are hyped for Mother 3, but that could very well be a vocal minority. Like, that's not a mainstream thing. So do you think they would want to go all out making this whole brand new thing when a bunch of people are going to be like, what the heck is this Mother? What, nobody would know what that is.
Well,
it's possible
they would call it Earthbound for the record, if it's coming out in America.
Yeah.
I feel like it's possible that the hype from Undertale really woke people up that really liked Mother and Earthbound, or whichever people prefer to call it. I think that really woke up people. They're like, man, we need a new Mother. Man, we need a new Earthbound.
Maybe so. I just think they would probably stick simple, at least for the first time, and if they get the sales numbers they want, they could make a really big one.
I don't agree.
Right.
I don't agree because I think it's one or the other. They decide what direction they want to take the series, and that's kind of what they roll with. Like, can you come up with an example where the first entry was like so much smaller that it was a completely different kind of game, and then they created something much huger afterwards? Like, for example, Kid Icarus Uprising, I would consider a big game. It just came out on 3DS. That was a big game, and that was a resurgence for the franchise. You know, Metroid Prime was a resurgence for the Metroid franchise, and that was a big game. They didn't take it, you know, they went all out for Metroid Prime, you know, like that was a big deal. Like, I think if Nintendo thinks they have a good idea and they are confident with whatever they produce.
Right.
So whatever it is, it's either going to be kind of more like a HD 2D style kind of game, or they're going to try to actually make a 3D other Earthbound. Assuming this even happens, because like we may never see another new Earthbound. The creator doesn't even want to create another entry.
It's like a Kirby Pokemon thing. Everyone wants a 3D open world Kirby. Everyone wants an MMO Pokemon, but those things never ever really happen. Like, they are great ideas. I would kill for a MMO Pokemon, even though I've never played a Pokemon game. But I don't think Nintendo would see, hey, let's completely change how this series is. But who knows? Honestly, it hasn't had an entry in a really long time.
To your point, that makes a lot of sense, Andres. I don't see why they would do that to make a smaller game and then just all of a sudden make a bigger game. But they might use Mother 3 as that kind of testing the water game, since they don't have to
maybe
make
they could do a Mother 3 remaster or something. That's possible.
Yeah, they could very well do it. Retro Studios, what they're working on, as you like to say, like all the time.
Right.
I also say they could be working on Zero. I also say they could be working on Donkey Kong.
So
I also say they could be making nothing. So, you know.
What about that South Park rumor? That one was interesting.
Yeah, I think it could happen. Do I care? No. But it could definitely happen. I don't see why not.
Yeah, Ubisoft and Nintendo, they seem to have been getting along a lot lately, so actually I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm sorry, I'm going backwards, but there was that thing that came out from LinkedIn's Retro Studios thing. Will, you showed it to me a second time on the. You didn't show me a second time. I had seen it, and then you showed it to me on the chat, and we were just talking about Metro Studios and
Metro Studios.
Metro Studios, whatever.
How
Retro
dare you?
Studios. And Brandon, you literally reminded me that I did kind of like a little theory like months ago, like almost a year ago, that Retro Studios was working on a new Earthbound game, but it was just like a small possibility. But if we look at that Retro Studios LinkedIn profile, that description technically fits the bill. But of course, that could fit the bill for anything.
Right.
What was the description again? I'm literally going to go to the chat because I want to read that, because just reading that with Earthbound in mind, and see how it sounds.
Right,
okay.
Right.
All right,
well,
so
while you're, okay. Oh,
Got
after, just let me say something real quick. After you're done with that, I think the discussion's going on a little long. So after we're done with that, I think we should list out exactly our predictions, like our final predictions for what we think is going to happen, like what could actually happen, and then just give our general hype levels for it, and then end it off. But yeah, go on.
Okay, real quick. So the Nintendo Everything posted this tweet, right? Retro Studios LinkedIn profile mentions, quote, keep Earthbound in mind, narrative specializations in world building, quote, and, quote, non-linear storytelling, quote. That fits the bill for Earthbound. Of course, it can mean anything else, but I'm just saying, you know, since we're since you brought it up, it's cool. It sounds really cool. You know.
Yeah.
For the record, it's not going to be at the Direct tomorrow. No way.
Oh yeah, no, probably not.
It sounds cool, but I don't think it would be happening.
All right.
Yeah.
Andres, what do you think? What are your final list of predictions that you have for this Direct?
Okay. Well, we're gonna see Mario Tennis for sure. That's my first prediction because Nintendo said it. I think I'll get that one right. I think we're gonna see Fire Emblem. I think that is almost a shoo-in at this point. And I wouldn't be shocked to see it as a late summer release, maybe taking up that Splatoon slot like last year. I think Yoshi also has a chance, but I'm not as confident in saying Yoshi, but don't be shocked to see Yoshi. We're going to see some third-party stuff. I was speculating that we might see a trailer for Dark Souls Remastered on Switch, but we may not. But we may get some other third-party announcements. There's been talk of Diablo 3 and Fortnite and Call of Duty. So don't be shocked to see at least one of those third-party games being shown off at the Direct tomorrow. Aside from that 3DS stuff, I expect to hear some talk about Detective Pikachu and a couple third-party RPGs on the 3DS. That's it. And one more thing, I think Nintendo will reveal one more big Nintendo game before E3, and I'm gonna just say Animal Crossing.
Okay. Will, what's your current list here?
I'd go with I feel like we are going to see something from Project Octopath. I think that was very much missed.
Damn it! I forgot to mention.
Sucker. But I feel like that was very much missed in the Nintendo Direct Mini. Maybe we're gonna hear a little more about the world ends with you final remix. More about the epilogue and stuff like that.
Oh, can I put in one more prediction? I'm sorry, Will. Travis touchdown strikes back. We'll also see that. Okay, sorry. You continue.
Right. That's fine. Did I say Fire Emblem? I feel like we're gonna get maybe some quirky new details about how the game is stylized and stuff like that. They seem to be very open to new ideas with that series. Yoshi, I feel like without a doubt, I feel like 100%. If they don't show Yoshi something, some screws are loose with Nintendo if they don't show Yoshi. Mm-hmm. I feel like we're going to get that new / unorthodox IP that Mr. Koizumi mentioned. Maybe not. I don't know. I think it's maybe 50-50. Diablo, I feel like definitely is coming. Fortnite is definitely a possibility. The actual dev team behind it is a big fan of the Switch. They're a big fan of cross-platform play, which Nintendo also is a big fan of. So yeah, I feel like no, not Dark Souls. One, I don't really see the point. I think we're gonna get some more details about Kirby since that was data mined, and there are some things we don't know yet. And to be wild and crazy and out there, Bayonetta 3. I think we're gonna get a little something on that.
Okay. As for me, I think we're gonna see. Obviously, we're gonna see Mario Tennis Aces, so that's barely even worth mentioning. I think we will see Fire Emblem. I think we'll see a considerable amount. I think we will see actual footage and a full trailer for that game, because I think it's just high time that they showed off. I think it might be releasing in August, actually, a little later than you think, Andres. I think that we will see very few things from the 3DS. You guys didn't even mention the 3DS. I don't think we'll see much from the 3DS. Maybe just a couple of small bullet points, just real quick, just like bam, 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 here's some stuff, okay, bye. So I think we could see Travis Touchdown. I think they will mention Wolfenstein 2, which is supposed to be coming out in spring of this year. So unless they're gonna mention that and that the that other event that's slipping my mind that they're going to do for that, you guys
there's a Bethesda
event. Yeah, the Bethesda event.
Right before E3.
Yeah, I think they might, unless they're gonna show it off then. But that I think it's gonna come out before that event, possibly.
You think so? You think it's gonna be out before May?
I think it could. It's supposed to come out spring? So either at May or before that. So
a lot of times when they say spring or winter, they usually mean right after spring or winter. You know?
Right. Yeah.
So it could end up being a June title.
Mm-hmm. I don't think so. In my opinion, it feels like it'd come out earlier than that. Obviously, we're gonna see. Probably some more Kirby, because that game's right about to come out. They're going to want to hype that up right before release. That's one of the big reasons I thought the Direct was going to be when it is. And I think we will see Animal Crossing. That just makes sense to me. I think we're going to see some new stuff about that. Maybe not a whole bunch about it, but I think we'll see it. And I agree with Will that we could see either a new IP or a retro remake of or a new entry in an old Nintendo series.
It could be that Ever Oasis remaster we're talking about.
It could. But I think there's gonna be something more than that. I think a new, brand new IP we haven't seen before.
Right.
Which they may save that for E3, but I don't. I feel like they should show that off before E3 so it doesn't get lost in the mix.
I count franchise revivals basically as the same as a new IP, except it's easier to market them. Mm-hmm. I consider Kid Icarus Uprising basically a new franchise.
Yeah, it doesn't play anything like the old one at all.
Or for example, Metroid Prime, basically a new franchise.
Yeah.
What's another franchise that was resurrected that I would consider a new franchise? Donkey Kong Country Returns, kinda.
I'd rather say it how Koizumi said it, where it's non-traditional. Like those
Yeah.
aren't traditional IP. Like they aren't Mario, they aren't Zelda, they aren't Kirby, they aren't, you know.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I guess we'll go. Andres, out of 10, give it a score. What are your hype levels right now? What are you looking forward to it a lot, a little? You keeping it in check? What are you
7.
thinking? 7?
7.
That's fair. That's
Yeah,
fair.
7 or 10 being, oh my god, Metroid Prime 4, F-Zero, next Zelda.
Got it.
Right? 1 being nothing. 7 being, okay, we're gonna see some stuff.
Okay. What about you, Will?
You know what, Brandon? The fact that it is 30 minutes and there is that possibility of the 3DS taking an extreme backseat in which I might be overshooting it, like, hey, the 3DS might take up too much. I think I'm going to give it maybe an 8. 7.5 to an 8.
Okay. I agree with Will. I think it's going to... Well, I don't know. They're so close. I'm going to give it a 7.5. 7.5 out of 10.
Right.
I'm pretty hyped, but I'm kind of keeping my expectations in check because I don't know how much 3DS stuff is going to be shown, even though I don't think it's going to be that much. And they haven't really given us much of a reason to be ridiculously hyped because the thing they mentioned was Mario Aces. So I think
They're trying to
7.5
keep our
out of 10.
in check. Like
Yeah.
every time a direct is shown, they have a little description that is meant to keep your expectations in check. So every time there's a direct, people get really excited, like, oh my god, this is gonna be shown, this is gonna be shown. Like when they said Nintendo Direct Mini, what you can't expect to see Smash Brothers and Metroid Prime 4 and Pokemon in a Nintendo Direct Mini.
Exactly. Even though everyone, I would say everyone, all the pie in the sky people expected that.
That's it? No Smash?
Yeah, like I was
Right.
really excited that time. Like the days leading up to that Direct Mini, I was really excited because we were hearing about there was going to be a Direct. But once Nintendo announced it and said it's going to be a Nintendo Direct Mini, I was like, oh, okay.
Expectations just
I remember
I scaled it way
before.
back.
I remember before, like someone went absolutely nuts and everyone believed them. Nier Automata, Final Fantasy 15 Super Ultra Complete Edition with the amiibo of the main 4 characters. I was like,
gosh,
dude,
that would never.
come on.
Even if it was a
GTA
full-scale direct, that wouldn't happen.
I do
Red
think
Dead Redemption.
if we're going to talk about potential ports, though, I do think Nier Automata, Final Fantasy 15, Monster Hunter World, Soul Calibur 6, Grand Theft Auto 5, those games, like, some of those will eventually be ported to the Switch.
Yeah.
Though, I think I would say all of them would be eventually.
Cool. Well,
Maybe
I think
one of
that's,
them
oh, sorry. I think that's
feel like
all for... Are you
Oh, go
gonna...
ahead,
Do you
sorry.
have anything to say? I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying I feel like the leader of the Final Fantasy team, he really, really is a big fan of the Switch, and he really wants that game on the Switch. So that's all I really want to say. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I think that's all for this discussion, guys. If you haven't already subscribed to Andres Restart and LilWilltheDiety, check them out. Those guys are awesome. I'll have their links down in the description below. Thank you guys all for watching. I hope you like this direct. Make sure to like and subscribe to all of us here. And comment down below what you think that will be shown in the Nintendo Direct. Give us your list of predictions. And we'll see all you guys later on What About Nintendo. Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Bye.